So what I got here today is a 799 head, and I found this in the junkyard last week, walking by a truck. Saw one head was pulled and it was the newer body style, so I knew it had 799s. The other head was just laying there. This one was still on the engine. Thought I scored, right? Nope, wrong. Picked up the other head and one of the chambers was completely smashed through. Like where the spark plug was, there was just a hole going all the way out with no spark plug in the hole. So that one was trashed. That one was on the driver's side. One of the pistons was completely shattered, so that's what destroyed that head on that side. So I said, all right, if it's destroyed on the driver's side, passenger side should still be good. So I pulled the head off, and it's not good. All right, so maybe a little bit hard to tell, but somebody gave this a Scotch-Brite job, as I like to call it. And all I did to clean this up was wipe it off. So all these marks are from the previous mechanic. And they did all the mating surfaces like this. They did that, they did the deck surface, and they did the exhaust side. So I'm not exactly sure how they managed to do this, but every single cylinder is damaged. I don't know when they rebuilt it, if they just had a bunch of trash in there and they didn't clean it out. Don't know what. Really couldn't see anything down in there. The pistons were damaged, the head was damaged, but there was nothing really there. And all 4 spark plugs were intact, so it wasn't like they had too long of spark plugs and it knocked the electrodes off. But all of these had something that the piston smashed up into the cylinder head here. Then you can see where they took the Scotch-Brite die grinder and just went crazy along this whole surface, so it's not even, probably didn't even seal anymore, who knows. But as is, this head is trash. Like, I would not put this on an engine at all, and I'm pretty cheap. Because this is just going to cause you more problems in the long run, like they had. And I'm guessing that's why the piston was cracked on the driver's side, was because the same trash was on the driver's side, and you don't have clearance, and it shattered the piston and destroyed the other cylinder head by knocking out this big hole like right there. So, throw a little math at you. So 799 heads have larger valves than the other ones, but they have a 64.4 cc combustion chamber. Now the other heads, like the 706 and the 862s, which are the common 5.3 liter, 4.8, those heads, they have a 61 cc chamber. So if you put 799 heads on a normal 5.3, because of the pistons in it, you're going to lose compression and lose horsepower because you're going from a 61 cc up to a 64.6 cc. So you're losing power by going just straight to 799s or evening out because of the valves, not sure. Anyways, if you remove 35 thousandths from this surface, then you end up with around a 59 cc chamber. So now you've got the advantage of the larger valves, but you have a smaller chamber than the stock 5.3 came with. So you're gaining more horsepower. And there is one disadvantage, is when you remove this surface and lower this, you start to shroud the valves just a little bit. So you're not gaining quite much, but it's not hurting it that much because you're losing this space right here. It's becoming tighter up against the piston. But it's only 35 thousandths, so it's not a lot, like I said. So anyways, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut 35 thousandths off this deck, and that should clean up most of these gouges, hopefully all of them. There's only one that I'll need to polish out, and that is this guy right here, where it slammed down into the chamber, but it's not very deep, and I'm not worried about that. Everywhere else looks pretty good down in the chamber itself, so no real concerns there. It's just all this damage that I need to get rid of, and I think it's all around 35 thousandths or less. So we'll get to cutting and see what happens. Alright, I just took my first cut, and I wanted to show you how the Scotch-Brite head job kind of doesn't work. So over here, you can see I've got a full cut along this edge. It might be hard to see, but I've got a cut all the way up until about here. And then past that, it's Scotch-Brite. And in this area, taking a full cut on this surface over here where they didn't do much Scotch-Briting, over here it's real nice. You can start seeing the dips where the Scotch-Brite dug into the head Right there's a whiz where it dug in, and my cutter cut on both sides of it, not in the middle. Cutter got the top of these, didn't even take the marker off. Down in here, there's a big valley. Again up here, this is the cutter cutting, but then all around this water jacket, it didn't cut. So that just shows you how it feels smooth and it looks smooth, but it's not smooth. You're gonna have all these little whiz wheel divots. So I'm gonna take another deeper cut, see if we can clean this whole surface up. And then this whole half of the head didn't even touch at all. So they dished basically the whole thing. Alright, I finished up the first drill cut, about 6/1000 off. You can see it's already cleaning up these low spots pretty good. That one I might have to blend after the cuts, but most of this is going to come out. So I'll keep on whittling it down 35/1000. I'll probably come back when it's completely done because it's kind of boring to watch. Alright, last pass is done. I've got the 35/1000 removed, and you can see most of my damage cleaned up. Along that edge I got a couple small nicks. I'll just sand those so they're a little bit better. One tiny spot on that one. These were the worst two on top there. Then on the bottom of the chambers here you can see it completely cleaned up. Everything's gone, all the damage. And then there's that one mark that I marked before I started down in the chamber. And same thing, I'll just blend that just a little bit, same as the ones up here. So I know not everyone's able to do something like this, but if you've got some heads that have damage similar to that, the rest of the head is good, you do have the option of taking it to a machine shop and having them take 35/1000 off, and you end up with a pretty good head, a nice sized combustion chamber, and you save some heads from the scrap pile.